That evening has arrived again, a global talk show evening. Namaste and a very lovely evening from India. I, Supriya Kumaravelan, host of Global Talk Show by Business Power Academy, welcomes you all. And today, we are going to have an amazing session with Linda Tilson. Welcome, Linda, to our show today.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to get to meet with you today. And you're right, it's already evening for you and morning for me. I'm just starting.
That's great to listen. And well, let me apprise of Linda before I take a deep dive journey with her. She is an educationist, a speaker, and moreover, she is into coaching industry and a transformational coach where we can see various transformations day by day. And she is doing a great job. A hats off for her, a great, outstanding example to our society. And we are so privileged to have her on her here in this show. Thank you so much, Linda, once again.
Thank you.
Well, before I start this journey, people and my global audience who are watching us live would love to know about your journey. Incredible journey, must say.
Well, I think about the journey that we all go through in life, right? So really my journey began when I was 12 years old. I was that person that would be that shining light, that person that would be that good friend, that person that someone could come to speak to about the things that were most on their heart, the things that, were exciting to them, but then there are times where they needed some support. So I was that person. And that person, really wanted to be involved in people's lives. So I've always been others focused. And honestly, I wanted to become a teacher or a psychologist because I saw that I could use my gift in those areas. But what happened was different. I actually found out when I was in high school that I had a gift for doing accounting. And I found that I could serve people through that outlet. And, fast forward through my life, I've used that gift of wanting to be that teacher, wanting to understand how others respond and how they move through the world. I've used that in my business. I've used that in so many places. And I think it's all about becoming. So in my life, it's all about becoming Linda. Who is she? What does she want? And, when I was that 12-year-old self, I was that voice for other people. When they didn't have a voice, or when they were in situations that were tough and they needed someone to speak for them, I would do that. Well, the interesting thing about that is that coming forward, I found my voice. And I became this person that could be in any environment and be able to speak my mind. But it wasn't always that way because a lot of us hold back. We don't always show up fully. We play small. We have limiting beliefs. We don't always feel like we are seen. And so I spent a lot of my life trying really hard to be seen for what I have to bring. And, when I look at it now, I had everything inside of me to do what I needed to do. And so I think that that's what inspires me most in coaching, is because sometimes people, they just need to be seen, they need to be heard, but they don't know really how to go about the communication piece or what they can do to improve their relationships. And so really that has come full circle for me.
That's really great. And when you said about your journey from a teacher, which you wanted to become, and then a roller coaster started begin, a transformation started to begin in your life. That's really a great journey. And Linda, I must say the people, the viewers who are watching us live today, they are going to grab lot of inspiration from your journey and they're going to implement it. So thank you so much for this lovely inspirational answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you for creating the space to have this happen.
Great. So When we are moving in our life, Linda, we all face some sort of challenges which will really knock us down. Sometimes we feel like, let's give up. Sometimes we'll feel like, oh, my heart is not at all willing to do this, but still we have to move on. So, in your life, I would love to know, is there any chances, challenges, or some situations arrived when you thought, I can't go further? And how you dealt that critical situation in your life, or challenges, you can say. We would love to know that.
Yes. So I've actually had two challenges in my life where I felt that that was true. One of them is nobody ever expects they're going to be in a work environment that's toxic. Nobody thinks that they are going to be in a situation where you feel stuck. So it's like, how do I work with a person or situation where every time you try and speak up, you get pushed down? And, that experience is probably one of the ones that challenged me the most. And what I found was the more that I would try to like speak out my truth and tell other people, then people thought I was the problem. And so what happened to me was I became the victim. I played the victim for a very long time. And it wasn't until some people around me that were supportive, they found that I had a light inside me that wanted to come out, but I was in this dark place. Well, they created opportunities for me to use my gifts and step outside of the toxicity that was happening. And what happened was all of a sudden, I was in a space where I was seen, I was valued, I wasn't being pushed down, and I was contributing and giving to other people. And in some cases, I met people that were in the same situation as me. And you know what I gave them? I gave them hope and inspiration that they could get unstuck, they could feel good. And, eventually the situation took care of itself. But it was the roller coaster. It was the roller coaster of the ups and downs because the person that was causing the toxicity left and then they came back. They left, they came back. They did this a couple times. And so it took a lot of resiliency to be able to come into a space where I didn't feel triggered by the different things that were happening. And because of that resiliency and that I had to like move through, that's what's made me be able to help and serve my clients in this area. So people that are in toxic work environments, people that are in situations or relationships where they're not having that voice to speak up. You know what I told, this is probably the biggest lesson that I learned. When you think you don't have a choice, you're wrong. You have lots of choices. You can use your voice to speak up, and you have a lot more internal power than you ever give yourself credit for. So I tell people, don't remain silent. Do speak up. Let people know when they've crossed your boundaries and not respecting you. Tell them what it is that you want, and see if you can't come from a space of collaboration. Now, it's not always going to work, but you're going to be a lot further along with when you feel empowered to speak to what you need and have choices to move forward, no matter what's going on. I've managed to be able to apply that to so many situations. And it was that lack of not thinking I could speak up that was my crutch. It was that lack of thinking I didn't have choices. But in life, to do something or not do something, it's always a choice. And you don't pick things to happen to you. I'm going to say you don't have to go through bad things to come out resilient as a way to grow. I mean, maybe you won't have as many things, and that's fine. But if you do, then that's what you do.
Wow, this is really, really motivating. Your all powerful words, when combined together, that it's really, you know, created some miracles, and you really boosted. Yes, it's very true, Linda. When toxic people are around you, they will drain your energy. And when they will drain your positive energy, you are no more left with the negative. So I do completely agree with you. Just avoid those people, toxic people in your life, and move forward. So, what a lovely
Yes.
message, Linda. And Linda, one more thing I would like to ask you, like, when you encounter these people in your life, like in your workplace or in your friend circle, how do you deal these toxic people?
Oh, yes. And so, half of it, this is what I share and then what I learned. I didn't get here by myself. I actually had a coach take me through this.
Okay.
But honestly, knowing, what you value. So, knowing what you want, what you don't want, and what you're willing to maybe compromise on is great. I think you need to know that. You need to be like centered in being able to speak to that, right? So when you are in a situation where things are stressed or hard in your friend circle, your workplace, anywhere, right? And I found that having this conversation has been really helpful. And because, like, when someone's doing something that you don't like, the first thing you want to do is like, they shouldn't talk to me that way, or he should do this. And so when you put that should on other people, then you're disempowering yourself. So instead, you say, okay, this person is having this behavior. It's not all right with me. I need to let them know. And so that's where you go into a conversation, and this is where people have a hard time with this. I did too for a very long time. And what the hard part was is, how do you go into a conversation where you feel scared to say anything, and maybe you don't want to go into conflict, or you don't want to lose a relationship. You just, you want to come out being able to have that. And a lot of people shy away from that and they don't have the conversation. I know, because I did it for many years. I get in these situations and I just would try to make it better by staying small and out of the way. And that didn't serve me. And so the moment when you speak up to what's happening and just say you observe the behavior and how it affects you personally, and how you're either going to tell the person, when you show up this way, this is what it does for me. And I value respect. And when you come in this way, you're not being respectful to me.
True.
And I really want us to be able to have that. Can you do this one thing that would show me more respect? Can we agree to go here? And, if that person says, oh my gosh, I did not realize that I was coming across that way. Thank you for telling me. Or it could be, oh, it's too bad you feel that way, because I don't, and we're not going here. We're done. Whether it's that acceptance when you bring it to the table with the person and they acknowledge it, or whether it's that they don't acknowledge it and don't want anything to do with it. Both are meant to happen. And so we need to not fear what's going to happen. A lot of times people, say things that out of anger and or hurt. And you got to remember that that can happen. It's not about you, it's about them, and knowing how you can like respond to that. Those are the things that I would share that I have learned, and it doesn't come easy.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't come
true.
easy. The only way in Yes, it doesn't come easy. And I found more satisfaction, more fulfillment, more confidence in having the conversations and not having them. It just feels lighter and better to do that. So I just can't stress enough. My message is, if something's not right, if something's not feeling good, or you're curious about what another person's thinking, ask them directly and they'll tell you. And don't shy away from the answer, because the answer is what you need. That's what you want, right? So if you ask, be willing to listen to what another person has to say or to share, and then make an informed decision based on that, of whether you would stay in the relationship and make it work, or exit because it's not good for you or the other person.
Very true. Very true. And a lovely answer, Linda. People must be struggling to come out of those challenges, how to move out from toxic people, because some people are, they feel shy, they are not able to do that. But thank you so much for this great answer. I am sure viewers are going to just love this answer, and they are going to implement in their life and move on in their life. So once again, thank you. What a great, lovely answer. Well, Linda, we all know you as a coach about your workplace, but still, we would love to know what kind of a work coaching you does, and what you are planning in your current working scenario.
Okay, I'd love to jump into this one here. This is the part that people wonder about, because, the theme that I have is that I empower people. I shine my light to possible pathways. I help people to solve their problems, and I use it doing an exercise, which I call my 5 light system. And so in both my personal one-on-one coaching practice, we use that system, but I also use it in organizations. And so really the way I look at it is people make up organizations. We start with the individual first, and then we move to the team of people that are working and clicking together. And so really in my work, I enjoy having a balance of both. And so with my one-on-one clients, a lot of times we will be working on that development that
Wow.
could be in the career, but honestly, where the conversation always starts.
Yeah.
It's how do I open up? How do I communicate? How do I make my relationships more effective? We start with that and we work towards that bigger goal, whether it's to uh, promote in an individual organization. It could mean that you want to become an entrepreneur. You could do any of these things, and so really we find the person's personal power, and I equip them with the tools so that they can step in and do that.
Wow. Such a great work you are doing. And I must request or advise my viewers who are talking, who are seeing, and who are going to see this video later on. If you really want to transform your life or want to get one-to-one coaching, kindly contact Linda Tilson for your greater transformation in life and a successful life. Must say this. So do contact. She is on LinkedIn. She is on Facebook. You can easily contact and make your life successful and a transformed one. So Linda, people will be there to take some inspiration, some guidance from you. So let's welcome them. Thank you so much. Well,
Thank you.
moving on this lovely, lovely journey, exciting global talk show journey with Linda, my next question coming up is that when we are going to a life, we make so many plans, so many, I will be this after 5 years or 10 years. So what is your mission in life? And we would love to know that.
Yes. So really my mission in life is to continue the work that I'm doing as a beacon and guide
Wow.
to empower individuals to become their best self. And the message really is that I want to put out there, because I had to learn this one too, is live for today. Don't wait for the perfect time to arrive to get started, because you might lose that opportunity that you can't get back. That has been the biggest thing that I have learned. And, a lot of people look at a timeline. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to do uh, this by 20, this by 30, this by 40, or it's like, I will be really happy when I achieve this goal or do this thing or achieve this success. And I'm going to stop people here, because I was part of that too for a long time. I thought, I need to do these things. I need to do it by a certain date. I need to be making sure that I take these things out of the way, the barriers to getting there. And what I realized is the more that I tried to stick to a timeline and a certain way of showing up to achieve those things, there were times that I didn't actually like the journey.
Okay.
And so liking the journey has to happen. And one area that I struggled with completely was in the coaching world.
Yeah.
In order to have clients, you have got to seek them out, right? And they need to pay you for your services. Well, I really didn't like the coaching sales conversation. But what I realized in my own journey is that I found my own way to go about that. And it doesn't involve the traditional sales strategies. All I'm doing is showing up authentically to give my value as a beacon. People see that I can solve their problems by shining that light, and then I will go with them down that path. People reach out to me every day asking how they can work with me, what it would take to do that. And so, whether I did this, my 20s, or in my case, in my mid 40s, it's
Wow.
worked out perfectly, because all of those experiences from being that 12-year-old self that would help empower and give people a voice, to finding and becoming Linda, who I am, and knowing who I stand for and what I want, I was able to determine that I can use my gifts in my own timing, in my own way. And I am highly successful in doing those things because of all of those experiences. And so I learned to not separate the sales conversation from the coaching conversation. And it's the best thing I ever did. My business is growing exponentially. And that same principle, I put that into the work I do with my clients. I say, it doesn't matter, when you start and how you go about it. It's getting started, being confident and secure in what you want and going after it, and not letting society, not letting anyone else stand in your way. And the one question I ask people, because I have to share this, is what is that one thing that you want to be doing, that no matter what, you're going to do it and no one's going to stand in your way and stop you? Then that's how you're aligned with your purpose. You are in your power to go accomplish it. And so the only thing you need to do is to take off any limiting beliefs and let you get out of your own way and just go conquer, go do.
Wow, that's really, really great, Linda. And I must say that zeal and zest should be there, whatever work you do. And that's what it's reflecting in your work when you are talking about your mission. And I wish you all the best for your future, for your mission. May God bless you with lots and lot of success for you. That's really, really great. All right. So you told me about your journey, your challenges. But one question is really, really, making me to pop up. Okay, let me ask her. Being a woman, how will you describe your journey how to handle your professionalism and your personal life? That for few women, it's really, really tough. And sometimes for me, if you ask, I really get pissed off. So how do you deal your personal and professional life a balanced one?
Oh boy, you asked the question that I get asked a lot. They're like, Linda, you do so much energy. You're out there helping the world. You're successful in your own right. How do you get that balance and do that? Well, I will tell you that being a professional working woman, so, working full time, I work for a government agency, and the passion that I have for empowering and helping people, that is my side thing that I do, the coaching, the teaching. And, it's really to get the balance. I've had to do a couple of things. And so I talk a lot about having that groundedness, that protected time. And when I mean protected time, I mean, I every day make sure that I put in time where I am reflecting or journaling, meditating, I'm exercising, I'm putting readings in some cases. I do that. And that's a time where I tell my family and friends, when I'm doing those things, I don't get interrupted. That's my time. I'm doing that. And, taking that 15 minutes, I'm going to tell people, if you can't take 15 minutes and you're jumping from thing to thing, you're not going to be able to sustain any balance, and you're not going to be serving yourself well. And when you can't serve your own self well, you can't serve other people. So you got to take care of yourself first. And, there's always going to be something to do, something to create, something that needs your attention, but your attention has to be on you. And I spent so much time being others focused that I was forgetting to do that for me. The same thing that I was extending to everybody else, I was not extending to me. So now I do that. And because I can do that, then I'm not my best self. And when I'm my best self, everyone around me can be their best self. And so really, to get that balance, it's hard, because if you think about it from a woman's perspective, not only are we doing a lot of cases working a full-time job like our spouse or partner, but we're taking care of everybody else. We're taking care of our children. We're taking care of our obligations, our we have passions too, because that was the biggest thing for me is I had this outside passion and it could get in the way when I was out doing my passion when I needed to be balancing with my family. That was a real challenge and struggle. And I thought, well, I can't give up who I am and what I want for everybody else all the time. And because and part of being a woman, it feels very selfish to say, I want me time. I want to develop myself.
Definitely.
And people don't always understand that, and they don't understand it when you don't have the proper balance. So I've had to work really hard on myself so I'm not neglecting my family, my relationships, or anybody else. And so, I mean, if I wanted to share and impart one thing today is finding that balance is not easy work.
Yeah.
But being honest with yourself and the people around you and doing the work to get there, it's one of the best things I've ever done. And I help women to find their path and to get this, because I would say that's probably the number one thing is how do I get to have all of these things? And I say it's not about either or, it's an and. When I started thinking about it's an and, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. You don't have to give up on your dreams. It's an and. You just find the ways to make that work. And if you need to work with a coach to figure out how to compartmentalize and figure out what's important, what's not, that's one of the exercises that I take people through, because a lot of people spend a lot of energy, time, and effort running around in circles, not knowing what they want. But the moment they know what they want and they can figure out what things in their life that, you know, are not serving that, they're able to better prioritize and balance their time and energy, and things will magically take off in their life.
Wow, that's the greatest answer, Linda, you have told. And you know, one thing, when you love yourself, when you think for yourself, people will start thinking you being as a selfish. But you know, the real definition of me time is when you are transforming yourself in that particular moment. And I really, really loved your golden lines, how to be positive, how to maintain your own energy level. Because being as a coach, if you are not energized and you're not motivated, how we are going to motivate our people, our audience? So that's really a great one, Linda. And I'm so, so happy to listen this greatest answer from you. Well, this is the realistic journey, incredible journey with Linda Tilson. And my question to Linda is, when we are moving forward in our life, we are coming to an end. And this is just not the end of our show. This is just the beginning of a great transformation. So before we leave, Linda, would love to know your message to our global audience who are watching you live today.
Absolutely. So I've given a lot of messages. I've given some tools and tricks for living your life. And honestly, just remember that you, as you exist today, have everything inside of you to do what you need to do. So the only person that's getting in your way when you look at it is yourself. So be confident in who you are. Find out what it is that you want, and look for supportive people, places and spaces where you can thrive and not just survive and not just move through life doing all the busyness, but to actually live fulfilled, live excited and empowered and excited to do life. And if you can do those things, life is really great. And, you know, I'm just thinking about how I am so blessed and so fortunate that I get to wake up every day. And with every day that I have, I'm making it count. I'm making it count because none of us are promised another day. And so I can't say enough that there's been some experiences in my life that have taught me that you live in the moment, you do those things, and you'll have no regrets about the life that you've lived.
This is really a great message. And along with other messages, you have given a final great messages. So thank you so much, Linda, for coming to our show. You have spent a great, great evening with us from India. And I bless you. I congratulate you for your success. Wish you all the best. And heartfelt thanks to you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, audience, for your constantly loving us, supporting us. Keep doing that. And till then, Stay happy, hale and hearty. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.